Welcome back, everybody. Derek Sue, your East Oakland advocate. Well, just yesterday, I had another reminder that, again, I'm getting old and my friends are dying. And um, this time it wasn't directly one of my friends. Well, it's still one of my friends. It was a sister, the little sister of my best friend. And when I first met his sister, she was only 14. I was 19 at the time. I met my best friend here uh, during my time at Grand Auto when I was an assistant manager. And we became good friends. We were actually only a couple of months apart in terms of age. I was born in February. He was born in April of the same year. And then his sister was 5 years younger than him. So anyway, in an email that he sent to me, he said that his sister had passed on, and I said, "Wow, I hadn't heard her name in a really long time, because, as you know, a lot of families drift apart, and uh, friends drift apart, and things happen. Time goes by, and but this is one of those friends that we've stayed in contact through all of these years, these decades, uh, and I watch him and his parents struggle with health issues, and then a sudden death of his mother uh, caused a lot of chaos in the family, and that's usually what happens to a lot of families, unfortunately. If you don't have a trust in place, then things like what happened to myself can happen, and what happened to me also happened to my friend, my best friend. His older sister stole the family home from him, who was the middle child, and then his younger sister, that or her, the youngest of the three children. And that one sibling stole everybody's generational wealth in one fell swoop. Uh, so things like that happen to families, and so not all families can have happy endings, and but I know that my friend, he did stay in touch with his younger sister, and the younger sister had a daughter when she was very young, and so I was saying, "Oh my God, that daughter now." I said, "You know, your niece has to be near 40, coming up on 40, because his sister was only 5 years younger than me. I'm 63, so his sister would be approximately 56 right now, or would have been 57 this year." So anyway, uh, and that's a problem with a lot of your older folks. At when they start getting up around their 50s, we start losing our friends. You know, I lost one of my high school friends when he was 50. And he died in his sleep. He had an aneurysm in his sleep, and passed away in his sleep. But then I also know of other fellow classmates that died in their 40s because of health issues. Um, but were kind of rare. When you start thinking back about 40s, you might hear one or two, not a big deal. But then when you start hitting 50, the 50 is the danger zone, because now health issues start coming into play, and a lot of times blood pressure issues, because I developed blood pressure issues and started on medications in my early 40s, and I knew that was going to happen. So if you have family medical uh, embedded issues, you need to stay aware of those and test for those on a regular basis, especially for myself, because I watched the decline of my grandparents, and then I watched the decline of my mother, who was an older mother at the time. She was just ready to turn 38 when she had me, and then she was already 40 when she had my sister. So mom was an older woman when she had children late in life. My dad was 10 years younger than her, so it was much like myself and my second wife. We were had a 10-year spread also. Uh, uh, but then the main difference was that she was Caucasian background and I'm Asian background, and so there were some issues there, definitely. Inter interrelation interracial marriages do have some challenges, and it may not come directly from the significant other. It can be family members. In my case, it was her mother. Her mother was the one who really didn't like me. In fact, she didn't like me to a point where there were family pictures of all the different family members, and then um, even the ex-husband, the father of uh, the only grandson, uh, was included, but yet I was not included. Even uh, the one, my ex had two sisters. One sister married, the other one never married. The one that did marry, uh, well, she couldn't have children because she had diabetes, and so she was never going to have children. But her husband had two children, and they were always quite a handful. So, but anyway, the mother-in-law and I were pretty typical. The mother-in-law and the son-in-law, the son, don't get along. My mother did everything possible to get along with my ex-wife and her son and child, to make them feel as much as part of her family, our family, as possible. But that was not reciprocated on my ex-wife's uh, side of the family. The Her father was okay. He was okay with me, but the mother wasn't so much good with that. And so uh, those were some of the tensions that come up with interracial relationships. But again, um, as we age, we start losing friends, and then our peers. That's who we can relate to, because they grew up in our generation, they grew up in our time period. They either went to school with us, or they're closely associated with our time period that we relate to, and so folks are to say, well, you can make new friends, to just be younger. I said, yeah, but we have nothing to talk about. I said, we literally have nothing to talk about in common. We can't talk about the good old days, whatever those good old days may entail. And so those are things that just can't be duplicated with the younger generation talking to the older generation, and folks that say, well, just make new friends. Well, it's much more difficult to make new friends when as you get older, because you start not trusting people. You also, your memory starts playing tricks on you, and so uh, as a safety measure, a lot of seniors just ignore you. Or like my dad used his loss of hearing to ignore people. Literally, you can talk to him, talk to him, talk to him, and he'll just flat out ignore you, because it's highly likely if you didn't talk in the right ear to him, he didn't hear you. So that was his fail safe. But he ran out of friends, and it was really sad. He was down to about two friends that he was meeting in the Oakland Chinatown prior to his major stroke that took him and ended up killing him, because he also was battling colon rectal cancer, but he had chose not to take any treatment for it. And so he was bleeding to death internally, and the cancer literally ate him alive for another year and a half before he succumbed to his cancer. So, folks, it it gets more difficult as time goes by here, and kind of like if you ever watch South Park, you probably remember one of the characters on there, Grandpa, and the one thing that Grandpa always said on there, "I wish I were dead," because he was supposed to be up near 100 years old, and the reason why he's dead, he's lonely. He's lonely. He's depressed because none of his friends are around. He probably doesn't have any family that appreciates him or pays any attention to him. And so a lot of folks, they get to that point where if they don't have people who are right in their age range, so to speak, 20 years, give or take, and that's being generous, that we really don't have anything to talk about. And that's one of the things that I want to say also. A lot of young women try to messenger me and talk to me and say, well, age is just a number. Well, no, in this case, age is not just a number. It is a warning sign that I'm taking steps every day, every minute, every second closer to that final dirt nap. So as we age out, we get lonely, and that's risen the amount of depression going on, the amount of loneliness going on, and there I know a majority of the folks of you out there need to have somebody in their life. Yeah, yeah. Not everybody needs to have that. I'm one of those weird odd birds that doesn't have to have somebody by my side. In fact, I'm actually enjoying life without a two-legged partner. I have a four-legged partner. That four-legged partner, my dog, is a lot easier to work with and to live with, because she's always happy to see me. She doesn't complain about anything much. She lets me know when she needs something. So, I have it pretty good. Yeah, she's a really good dog. She's very protective of me. So that's the most important thing. I'm not lonely. She keeps me busy. Uh, because we have chores, we have things that we have to do. I walk her daily. We have to exercise. There's playtime where we play with her squeakies and pull toys. So I'm involved with my dog, and that's what keeps me alive, and that's what breaks up the monotony and the loneliness for me. And then I have my TV, and I have over 120 channels of things that I don't need to watch. So thanks for joining me today. Don't get old. We'll be right back.